Welcome to Volvo Ocean Race headquarters. These are live images coming to us from Turn the Tide on Plastic. They just connected to us a moment ago. And we wanted to try and give you a sense of what exactly is going on the racecourse right now, how the boats were being sailed, how the teams are dealing with this extra leg that was only announced yesterday. Remember, this is a downhill sled ride that was laid onto the teams yesterday. The navigators have had to work all the new information into their course and exactly how they are going to prepare, and the breeze has not made it easy because they are absolutely flying. Just before we came on air and I was checking some of the speeds that are coming in here, it's about 20, 21. In fact, at one point I think we saw 23 knots. So they are certainly finding a good amount of breeze, and as you can see from these images coming to us live from the boat, it is definitely downwind and it is definitely full on. Well, that was Turn the Tide on Plastic, and we're going to be coming back to them to try and bring you a sense of what's going on the racecourse right now. But firstly, let's take a look at the position reports. This is where the fleet are right now. So we're on leg one from Alicante to Lisbon. We're on the sort of strange bit where we get sailed into the middle of the ocean and then go back towards the Portuguese coast after going round the Porto Santo North waypoint. These are the positions, and the big thing to note right there, Axe and Nobel have jibed. But let's start at the back and we'll move our way forward. Turn the Tide on Plastic, they're showing about 24 knots. Team Brunel, just to windward, south of them, they're about 24 knots as well, and we've got a good drag race there. In fact, Turn the Tide on Plastic have gained. Sun Hung Kai Scallywag, then Dongfeng Race Team. Now we get to the front three. Axo Nobel, the first boat to jibe off. It's Mafre in second, and Vestas 11th Hour Racing in the lead, still leading at this point. And the question is, I mean, we're live right now. We would be expecting a lot of these boats to be jibing soon, not least Turn the Tide on Plastic, who came around the last mark in not a great position, but have since lost a pretty good attack. This is where the computer puts everybody up right now. Vestas 11th Hour Racing in the lead. Mafre a little way behind, but the only real team to cause Charlie Enright and Mark Towell any nerves at all. Team Axo Nobel in third. Dongfeng Race Team fourth. Sun Hung Kai Scallywag, Team Brunel, and Turn the Tide on Plastic making up a pack of three at the rear for the moment. Well, the incredible images that we just saw just a moment ago lets you know exactly how tough this has been for the sailors. If you've been following us here in Volvo Ocean Race headquarters, we've been bringing you the race as live and as up to date and with all the information that we have available every day. And you'll have followed us through a rather hectic start. We had unbelievable breeze as they sailed through the Strait of Gibraltar. Then we had the light wind, difficult transition where you'll remember Mafre nearly launched the attack over the top. We've gone round Porto Santo Island, and now it is downwind, stack at the back, ballast at the back, and just hold on as best you can while we pummel these boats forward. These are the live images. This is what I'm talking about. You've got waves, and the boats are absolutely flying down into them. So a few things just to sort of pick out from these shots. The stack, the sails, the equipment that's not being used right at the moment, in its bags, on the right-hand side, tucked at the stern, helping the bow go up, but also stopping the boat from leaning over too much. And one of the discussions that we've had here in race headquarters, or I should say one of the discussions that I overheard other people having here, was what sails are being used, because there's still some debate as to exactly what combination of sails is going to get you downwind the fastest. We've got the A3, that's the big dedicated downwind sail. We've got the masthead Code Zero. It's not really for downwind in the heavy stuff, but some teams seem to be taking advantage of it. So there's a lot going on the course. Apart from just a white knuckle ride, there's also a lot of strategy as well. Well, those were live images, and we're going to try and stay connected with Turn the Tide on Plastic for as long as possible. And also, we've got Conrad Colman here with us, because I am in the race headquarters. This is where all the data comes in. This is where all the experts sit around and talk and discuss. And one thing that we have here, I mean, we deliberately set the camera up so you can't see it in too much detail, but we have so much information coming in that we actually know where the boats are, what they're doing to a certain extent, and with all the media and information that comes in, we can get some idea as to sort of what they're thinking. So, Conrad, you've been looking at this, you've been thinking a little bit about what teams maybe cracks are starting to show, or who's gelling well. What have you picked out?
Well, without being a fly on the wall, which is what our OBRs are, it's really hard to know exactly what is going on within these teams. The only little peek that we get into the structure, into the performance of these teams, aside from the tracker and how many miles they're ripping out the back of each boat right now, are the photos that are coming back. These are all on the raw wall, so I encourage you to go and check them out and make your own conclusions if you don't agree with me, but I just want to share a couple of my thoughts. Let's go and have a look at our computer here, please, diggers. This here is Turn the Tide on Plastic. We were just on board with them, and you can see here that we've got Liz Wardley at the helm. We've got Francesca Klepich here on the grinder, on the pedestal, on standby, ready to provide power to Bernardo. Bernardo Freitas is there trimming the main sheet, so he's really got his hand on the throttle. And what really I noticed this morning was the amazing enthusiasm that I saw on the younger sailors on this boat. It looks like, the kids stole mum's car and are taking it for a bash around the block. They're having a great time on board. In contrast to that, it looks like the pressure is really mounting on Dongfeng. We see a photo here of Carolyn Brower really dialing into her numbers and intensely concentrated. And in contrast to all of the collaborative images that we're seeing off on the other boats, all of the photos from Dongfeng are sort of these personal studies of concentration and misery. In comparison, we've got a bird here who's coming chilling out with the new navigator on Exo Nobel, and Scallywag. A spectacular image there. This is how they've set their boat up at the moment. And the thing that astonishes me is that they are having what looks like a barbie on the side of the boat. They're having a great time and really enjoying sailing with each other.
And this is going to be a big challenge for all these teams, because this is the Volvo Ocean Race. This is the toughest test of a team in sport, and we can dial into one of those teams right now. We have made a connection with Turn the Tide on Plastic, and I believe, hopefully, we can speak right now to Bernardo Freitas on board. Bernardo, can you hear me?
Yes, nice and clear.
Well, fantastic. Whereabouts are you on the boat at the moment? Because our view from the stern shows a pretty wet ride. Where are you?
I'm downstairs on the boat. We're sailing at 22 knots downwind right now.
And what's the ride like being down below as the boat kind of flies at those speeds?
It's kind of a roller coaster, but it's pretty cool.
Is anybody able to get any sleep on your boat when it's going like this?
Yeah, we try. When we're so tired, it's quite easy to sleep. But sometimes, with maneuvers and sail changes, we can't sleep that much.
So one of the questions that we've got coming in from Francis, in fact, via Facebook, we're just wondering, what's the funniest thing that's happened so far? What's kind of been the strangest moment for you so far on board?
Everything has been pretty okay. Nothing major so far. Some good rides. 35 knots downwind crossing Gibraltar was pretty nasty there.
You seem to be taking the whole sort of speed thing in your stride. I know you're a 49er sailor, but what's it like doing those kind of speeds in the middle of the ocean? You scared?
Not scared at all. I'm having the best fun of my life right now.
But normally, when you go out and you have a sail like this, you get to sleep in a bed. How are you finding the nights and the off watches?
The first 2 days are a little bit hard. You get tired, you get used to it, your body gets used to everything. You get used to sleep wet and not sleep that much. So, it's just losing a little bit of comfort.
Well, we've got some questions coming in on performance. Looking ahead for you guys for the race that's left, How many places do you think you can put in your pocket?
Hopefully we can get Scallywag. Scallywag is just a few miles ahead. We just passed Brunel, so I think we're going pretty fast right now, and hopefully we can catch in 1 or 2 more places.
So we've got a question about wildlife, I think from Jules, I think it is, and just wondering what kind of wildlife have you spotted out there on the ocean?
A lot of dolphins and pretty much that. We haven't seen any whales this time, but a lot of dolphins come and say hi for a few times already.
And just wondering what life is like below deck right now, because we can see the images on top and it looks like everyone's getting pretty wet. Do you manage to stay dry down there?
Yeah, down here it's pretty dry. Everyone is having a sleep, pretty calm. Our navigator is on the chart table and everything is running smooth.
And have you had a chance to eat yet?
Yeah, I just came on watch like an hour ago, so I had a protein bar, a little bit of water, and that's it.
All right, Bernardo, we're going to leave you. We're going to let you get on with sailing the boat because it looks like a lot of fun. Good luck. We will see you at the finish line.
Thank you. See you soon.
Well, I mean, he seemed pretty relaxed. He seems to sort of take it all in his stride. I mean, I guess the man's a 49er sailor. I guess he's no stranger to speed, but being out there on a Volvo Ocean 65 when you're pummeling through the waves is no laughing matter. And thank you very much, Turn the Tide and Plastic, for taking the time to sort of talk to us there as well. Well, those are the conditions out there. That's what's going on in the race at the back right now. But earlier on, we spoke to one of the teams vying for the lead. The Spanish boat Mafre are being pushed to their limit here with Vestas 11th Hour Racing, giving them a good run for their money. And just before we came on air, I spoke to Rob Greenhalgh, the watch leader from Mafre, and asked him what the view was like.
The conditions are pretty nice actually, compared to the first night out through Gibraltar. Yeah, it's nice sailing, sort of 20 knots of wind, doing about 20 knots downwind. I think there's changeable conditions out here, so everyone has a chance of, you know, good speeds and good winds, and you know we're kind of happy in all conditions. And you know what it has been about the last few days is just making the best of the weather and finding the best weather. And it's not always been predictable.
What way are you guys trying to attack this leg to the waypoint?
Yeah, I think this leg down to this waypoint is a bit of a boat speed charge. I mean, our routing has kept us out on the east here, as most of the fleet got Vestas out to the west a bit further, hoping on this next sked that we'll sort of converge with them slightly. Hopefully we can get that deficit down to, you know, sub 10 miles by the waypoint. You know, there isn't anything too clever to be done down here, unfortunately. It's not a follow my leader, but you know, you just kind of make your bed and then figure it out as you go.
On the leg to Porto Santo, you guys sailed the furthest north. Would it be fair to say that that was a gamble, or to you did it just seem like that's the way you got to go?
It was a very, very shifty leg and very cloud driven, and you know, as we even in the Med we saw the fleet getting big splits where, you know, you get a shift and you are kind of committed to the direction you're going, and we did ended up branched out to the west there a bit more than the others, and it was fine, you know, it paid big time early on, and then for the last sort of 20 hours into Santos we were generally losing to the pack. So overall, it was a small loss to Acton Noble for us, to be honest. There was some tense times, but you know, nothing too dramatic.
So we can see you just hiding out in the hatch, just sheltering from the waves that are coming crashing over the top. We know that you're doing, you know, 20 plus knots of boat speed. Are you enjoying it? I mean, how wet are you underneath your gear?
It's, you know, it's not too bad. Obviously, you know, you've got to try to stay as dry as possible. But you know, it's actually relatively dry conditions for Volvo racing right now. It's quite benign. It gets much worse. Well,
there you go from Rob Greenhalgh. He's taking it in his stride because, as you heard him say there, There's a lot more to come later on in this race. And let's just have a quick look at how this new course was. If you were with us yesterday, Phil Lawrence described on the show the little tweak that they were doing in the course. So far, so good, but past Porto Santo, a new waypoint being put in, which is causing this downwind run coming along here. And actually, I can just tell you now, Conrad, you were just saying, I mean, we saw on the live tracker Axel Nobel jibing. We're expecting these jibes to come in pretty soon. Yep. And I believe another boat's jibed?
I think they have. Vestas have jibed. There we go. We got it from Peter first.
Okay, so Vestas has also jibed as well on this course, heading down to the waypoint. And it's a downwind run, but the question is exactly what are those conditions going to do? Now, we had a bit of a conversation before we came on air about breeze, what it was going to be like. What have you got?
Well, all of you have seen that these boats are absolutely blazing. They're so fast. Okay, now we're running a little bit short of time, so we've got 30 seconds for the weather. Put it on the clock. Here we go. Well, goodness, need to start where we are. The route here, as we were just reminded by Niall, is off here, and then we've got strong winds funneling in from this direction and also from this direction, and that creates a convergence, really. And so what that does is it's been driven by the depression. Maybe that's not such a good word. Anyway, it's the area of low pressure here and an area of high pressure here. That means that there's maxi circulation like this. And it's beautiful. There we go. So that means that they're in strong downwind conditions for now. If we look at what that's going to look like on the routing software, well, we can see up here that this corner that we were just talking about, we've got two boats that have jibed over already. So at 2100 UTC, or this evening European time, they're going to arrive at this waypoint and then head off on a reach with the wind on the side like that until it shuts down. At this point, that's going to be, well, Friday afternoon. I'd give it a hazard of a guess, and then finally arriving in Lisbon early Saturday morning. It looks like at this point.
All right, well, there you go. I'm going to pin him to that opinion. Early Saturday morning in Lisbon for the arrivals. Now then, that's just about everything we've got time for here today. The race experts are behind me, and they're preparing their latest update, their latest round to go out. If you haven't done so already, you can sign up to @RaceExperts on the Twitter feed. We've got Gonzalo, we've got Peter here. They've got a 24-hour watch system going on. So if you want to know everything that goes on in the race, sign up to them. They will also let you know when the tracker gets updated ahead of time. Officially, it's meant to be every 6 hours, but if these guys see something interesting, they will push it out before then. We've got another quick fix coming at 700 UTC, and then we've got another daily live, an in-depth look at what's going on and trying to bring you the race live at 1300 UTC. That's tomorrow. We will see you then.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I don't know why, but he was like, yeah, I'll do that. So.
Don't do it. Okay.
Which?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Just roll with.
Yeah, and the thing is,